How did I come about owning this book? Do I read those or do I stick to my TBR? See, we're already 3 days into the year trying not to stick to the TBR. We're going to read it. We're going to read it. Watch me not read it. It's going on the TBR. It's going on the TBR. Let's be reckless. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and hello if you're new here. Thank you so much for joining. As if it is the first TBR of a new year, oh my god, has everybody set their Goodreads goal? What are you going with? Because I have set my goal. I'm going to go for 80 books again. Before I started my YouTube channel, I used to read over 100 books a year. Obviously, naturally, I spend a lot more time filming and editing now, which I love. I have no issues with that. But I very quickly realised last year when I started my channel that my 100 book goal was becoming pretty, it was looking pretty bleak. Like, I think for a long time I was like 8 books behind schedule, and I was like, where am I going to catch up 8 books? Like, it just wasn't possible. So I changed it to 80 books, and then I managed to read 90 books last year. I don't know how, but we managed to read 90 books. So I've set my goal again for 80 this year because I don't want to set an unrealistic goal where I feel like I have to be constantly reading loads. I also want to get through quite a lot of my TBR and have a good reading year, basically. So I've gone with 80 again. Hopefully, you know, if we can get to 100, that would be great. It's probably very unlikely though. The plans that I've got for 2025, there is not going to be enough time, I don't think, to read 100 books this year, but nonetheless, my Goodreads goal is set. I thought I'd quickly as well just go over with you guys some sort of reading goals that I've set myself for the year and sort of things that I want to achieve with my reading. I do want to start rereading a lot of my favourite books this year. A lot of my favourite ever books that I read in 2022 and 2023. So it's been a long time and I really want that feeling again. I feel like for some reason, like especially last year in my end of year book tag, 24 books in 2024 and stuff, all of that, I kind of spoke a little bit about how my reading year was very up and down. I found more 5-star reads than ever, but everything else that I'd read that wasn't 5 stars was just really, really mid. So I want to reread Credence, the Magnolia Parks universe, Hooked by Emily McIntyre, the Sinners Anonymous series, the Devil's Night series, which I'm going to save for October, Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton, and then The Truths We Burn and The Blood We Crave Part 1 and 2 from the Hollow Boys series. They are books I want to try and reread throughout the course of the next 12 months. I'm not going to force it, but I do think whenever I'm in a slump, rather than changing genres per se, I'm just going to pick up a book that I want to reread. In terms of monthly reading goals, so I want to try and read at least one sports or contemporary romance book a month, because I do neglect those genres and I don't know why. I just always reach for dark romance or fantasy or dark fantasy, and I feel like I'm missing out a bit because there are a lot of books on my shelves which don't necessarily fall into those categories. I just think, why am I not reading them? Like the Windy City series by Liz Tom Ford. I've got loads of contemporary romances, like billionaire romances, that I just need to read and I just don't get around to them. So the goal is to try and read one sports or contemporary romance book a month. At least try and reread a favourite book every time I feel like I'm in a slump. So instead of like like I say, switching genres, just rereading a favourite book. Read one fantasy book every month because it's a genre that I'm very quickly loving so much that I want to make sure I stick with it. So I want to try and make sure I'm always reading at least one fantasy book a month, and I'm aiming for 8 books a month on average. I still feel like that, I feel like that's pretty, like that's 2 books a week, and obviously hopefully we manage to do more than that, but I think that's like quite a normal reading goal. Considering I have a BookTok account, a YouTube account, 3 horses to ride and a job, to read 8 books a month around all of that, I think could be manageable. And then also just to like listen to more audiobooks. So if any of you guys have got audiobook recommendations, please leave those down below, because I racked up 4 credits on Audible because I forgot to cancel my subscription. So I've got 4 credits that I can use, but I think I will keep it and try and listen to more audiobooks. I think I'm going to listen to Haunting and Hunting Adeline and do a reread of it, but on audio, because that audiobook sounds amazing. I really hope it's in duet narration because that's my favourite. So anyway, let's get into this month's TBR. This is slightly different to the way I've been doing it before. So I'm going back to my spinning wheel because I absolutely adore it, but instead of having the names of books or numbers and then picking them numbered off my cart, they are all filled, I don't know if you can see, but it is filled with TBR prompts. So for example, a book from an author I've never read, or a book with a purple cover, or a book that ends in an uneven number of pages or something like that. So I thought I would go with prompts instead. so that I can also still kind of have some say into like my TBR, because I want to read. I've set myself a reading goal of reading 15 books in January, so it needs to be a good TBR. I'm going to pick out 10 for this, and then obviously the other 5, if I get that far, there's me going, the other 5 are books of the 15 books, but the other 5 books, if I manage to get that far, I can sort of mood read a bit and pick what I'm feeling as and when I want to. The only reason I've set my goal for the amount of books so high this month is because I have no plans in January. Literally 0 plans. The festive season finished me off. I was so unwell last week. You might still be able to hear it a little bit in my voice, but I was just not well, and I just planned on doing nothing but riding my horses, training my horses, getting ready for show jumping season, and getting back into the swing of it with reading. So we're going to pick 10 prompts off of the spin wheel. I'm really excited. I've never done a TBR this way. So that is a book I've tried to start before. So a book I've tried to start and then I didn't finish it. I've done that with a couple of books. To be honest, I actually did this with Vicious. So, I did it with Twisted as well. What do I feel like would be more... I'm going to pick Twisted. Right, I'm going to go with Twisted by Emily McIntyre. I read a chapter of this a while ago and I wasn't in the mood for it. And the reason I've decided to go for this as well is because it was actually on December's TBR, but I never got around to it because I just went completely rogue and started reading Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac, and I've just read 3 600+ page books back to back. I don't want to see another 600-page book for a while, so we're going to pick up Twisted because I know that this should be sort of easy, definitely a form of escapism. I really need to make inroads into the Never After series. Let's hide that choice so we don't get it again. A fantasy romance. Well, that should be very easy because I've got so many of those that are on my TBR. I'm going to try and stick to my TBR cart if I can, if there's any fantasy romances in here. There are 3, The Book of Azrael, Vicious, and A Dark Shade of Magic. Do you know what? I'm going to go rogue-ish. And I'm going to pick The Book of Azrael because honestly, I've been trying to read this for so long, and if I'm going to pick and start a longer book in any month, then January is going to have to be the month to do it. Because this, again, is a 600-page book, so maybe we'll save this for like more towards the end of the month. But I do really want to read this. I also am doing a book haul soon, and I did buy book 3 in this, and I got book 2 from my book advent calendar. So if I'm really enjoying it, I can sort of keep going, stick in the swing of it. So we're going to go for The Book of Azrael. An author that I haven't read yet. Okay, like I say, I'm going to try and still stick to my TBR cart. I do plan on redoing this a bit more for 2025, but there's a lot of authors on here that I haven't read yet. And I do think I'm going to go with Wolfie by Paisley Hope because this is a dark motorcycle club romance. I have wanted to read this for the best part of like the last 6-7 weeks, and it isn't a long book and it's a little bit different to things I've been reading. It also doesn't look like the writing is quite big in the book, so it's something that I might be able to get through relatively quickly just to help with my reading goal. And I've heard nothing but 5-star reviews for this, so I'm going to go with Wolfie. Is that how you say it, Wolfie? Or is it just Wolf? Am I making myself sound stupid here? I don't know. A book with a purple cover. I put that one in because purple's my favourite colour. I put a few colours in. I put purple, green and blue. So let's find a purple cover. I feel like it does not get more purple than this. This is The Curse of Ophelia. This is book 1 in a romantasy series. I have heard, to be honest, quite mixed reviews. I've only got book 1 in the series. I haven't got anything else. I thought I would read this one and see how we go before I get carried away and buy the entire series. But this does sound really good. And I also think I just kind of do just want to go in a little bit blind to this. I don't fully know like the tropes, the story or anything like that it follows. But like I say, I really do want to read some fantasy, and it's also another, like, not overly, for a fantasy book to not be 500 pages plus, that takes some doing to find. And this is only about 350 pages, so I think that's a good start to see whether I even like this series and want to continue. Also to be able to read a fantasy that's not 5, 6, 7, 1,000 pages long, because they are just all like that. And as much as I love them, when it is a series and every book is that long, I just find it a slog. A book with a person on the cover. Is there one of those in my TBR cards? Does this count? Or does it need to be a real person? Because if so, I'm not going to find a real person. I don't have them on my covers, and the only one I can think that comes to mind is Pen Pal by JT Geisinger, and I've read that book where it has like an actual real person, because I try and avoid those covers at all costs. So bearing in mind this was in my TBR cart and it's got people on the cover, and I do really want to read it. I'm going to go with Bourbon and Lies by Victoria Wilder. This is a romantic suspense mystery plot, and it sounds so good. I've not heard anything about the author, but I've heard really, really good things about this. The second book to this is out as well, so if it is something that I enjoy, then I know that I can go and get the second book guilt-free. I mean, who are we kidding? I'm going to buy the second book anyway because the cover's pretty, but it's set in a small town as well, and I think that I'm just getting the gist that there's a few secrets going around and stuff like that. So yeah, this sounds really, really good. So I'm going to pick this one because it has got people on them, and they're not cartoon people. They're not as cartoony as cartoon people can get, you know? Does that make sense? I feel like they're quite close to real people even though they're not. Anyway, I'm going to stop now. A book with an odd number of pages. Let's try this. By the way, can we just actually talk about this arc that I got sent by Catherine Cowles of this? I actually received it today, to be fair, called All the Missing Pieces. It's even got these really nice sprayed edges. Love it. This is also like a romantic suspense, murder mystery, small town kind of thing. I just really want to mix up my reading a lot this year and just branch out and not read like dark romance after dark romance. And I know if you've been subscribed to me for a while, you're going to be thinking, Poppy, we have heard you say this countless times and you do not change, but it's the new year. So if change is going to be made, it's now, right? Let me see how many pages are in this book. I think we're actually not going to get in luck here. Oh, 373. 373. Right. It's going on the TBR. It's going on the TBR. Let's be reckless. Okay, 4 more books to go. A book in a series that I haven't finished. Ooh. I don't think there's any on here. No, so we're gonna have to spread out. Okay guys, I'm going to go with The Darkest Temptation by Danielle Laurie because this is the last book in the Made Men series that I haven't read yet. It has taken me, I think I read The Sweetest Oblivion, not January last year, January the year before. Then I read, what's the next one called? The Maddest Obsession. I read that last year. Or was it the end of the year prior? It's just taken me a really long time. I really liked The Maddest Obsession. I do actually want to reread that because I feel like I didn't really appreciate it, but I didn't like Sweetest Oblivion. But anyway, I need to finish this series. This is the last book. I haven't read it yet, so I thought this would be a perfect one. It means I get to complete another series. And a lot of people actually in my comments on my YouTube account as well, to be fair, have said to me, you'll really like The Darkest Temptation. Let's go with it. And also, I like mafia romance now. Like when I read these, it's thanks to Sinners Anonymous series, and now I love mafia romance. When I read these, they may have been the only mafia romances that I've read, or I just hadn't read that many, and I just wasn't really sure how I felt about it. Now, I'm converted, I'm obsessed with it, and I absolutely love it. A book with a pretty cover. I'm going to go with Shallow River by H.G. Carlton because I do think that the new cover for this is so nice. The only real pretty covers I was able to find are parts of series, and I'm just trying really hard not to start loads of series in one go. I've got so many that I need to finish first. So we're going to go with Shallow River by H.G. Carlton. I think this is the last book on her backlist that I haven't read. Yeah, it is. This is the only book that I haven't read by her yet. She's one of my favourite authors, so it also ticks off that book. Phantom is going to be releasing soon. I am so lucky to actually be on her ARC team for that, which means I'll be receiving a copy of that very soon, and I literally cannot wait. I'm frothing at the mouth for that book. I'm so excited for it, and also for Sibby's Duet. And yeah, anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but I'm going to pick this one because I do think this cover is really pretty, and it kind of ticks off another book that I've been wanting to read for a while now and I haven't got around to. A book that I've been putting off. Oh, that's difficult. That's difficult. Okay, I'm gonna go with Phantom by Greer Rivers because I cannot tell you, oh wow, look at the formatting. That's amazing. Every time I go to pick up this book, I'm just like, maybe not now, maybe not now. And I don't know why, because this sounds so good. If you looked at the notes, because I write my TBRs out sometimes in the notes on my phone, and I always add this book in, so I like add it on and add it on and add it on, and I just don't get around to it. I've tried and read the first page once before, and I was like, maybe not the right time, and I just don't know why I'm doing that. It is time to read this book. I also just really want to read the other books of the series too. I'm seeing, oh my god, honestly, the formatting in this, I'm obsessed. But yeah, so I'm seeing lots of people reading it as well and giving it really positive reviews. So I need to stop putting it off. I need to read it, see how I feel about it, because there are 2 more books in the series, and I love the idea of the series. It's not like any other dark romance series that I've got on my shelves. So we're going to do that. We're going to read it. We're going to read it. Watch me not read it. A book you'd be going in blind with. Ooh, okay, let me have a think. I was also trying to, like I say, steer clear of series, but I've gone with Beautiful Graves by LJ Shen. I actually know nothing about this. I think the only thing I do know is that it's a love triangle, and that's it. I don't know a lot about this book at all. I haven't seen that many reviews on it either. I don't even... How did I come about owning this book? It must have been one of my many ridiculous book hauls. And I must have just thought I like that because it's got a nice cover. It's got a pretty cover. That's something I would do. But yeah, so I know nothing about this. I just think I bought this because it's the love triangle trope. And I do really like that trope. I just don't have that many books with that trope in it. So we're going to go Beautiful Graves. Okay, there we go. 10 books are picked. Let's see if I can get to my 15 book goal for the month. Who knows? I did actually finish, today's the 3rd of January when I'm filming this. I did actually finish my first book today. So we're making a good start. 1 book, 3 days in. Already completed, and I'm going to literally sit down and start another one from this pile, I would assume. I did actually have some Amo Jones books ready to go. Do I read those or do I stick to my TBR? See, we're all ready 3 days into the year, trying not to stick to the TBR. Oh, but anyway, guys, let me know how many books you have planned to read. Have you set your Goodreads goal? What New Year's resolutions for reading and your reading goals have you guys put in place? Hope you guys enjoyed watching my first video of the year, my first TBR video of the year. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this year. I'm so excited to see where my channel goes this year. Thank you so much for everybody who has been here for the last year, whether it's been the last year, the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months. Thank you so much for all of your guys' lovely comments always on my videos and for watching and coming along on this ride with me, because Lord knows I cannot even edit myself back. So the fact that you sit here and watch me, I'm very, very grateful for that. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any of my upcoming content. I have got a very, very juicy book haul coming that I'm so excited for, but I am also actually going on a ban after. But don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming content. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.